I understand when you work on a product for years and it comes out and it's raked across the coals, you're going to be a little bit bothered by that. You're going to be a little bit upset by that. But to go on social media and then call anybody who criticized it terrible isn't a good way to go. And it just goes to show that you really are the toxic one in this situation. And that is exactly what the Dragon Age star is doing, because she's saying that there was just a lot of people who wanted to see the game and also BioWare fail. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube membership. So I totally get that when you work on a project for years, you might take it a little bit personally when it fails because you put your heart and soul into it. You thought it was going to be amazing, but you also need to realize that it is a product and people have the choice to buy it or not to buy it if they think that it looks bad. But instead, we see time and time again, actors and directors and developers come out and just trash people who didn't want to spend their hard-earned money on a product they thought looked bad. And now the Dragon Age star is, of course, putting her 2 cents into the conversation, which she, of course, is allowed to do, but we are also allowed to criticize what she said. So Dragon Age the Veilguard star, Alex Wilton Reagan, has given her personal response to the backlash faced by last year's Dragon Age the Veilguard and blamed the mixed reactions on people who wanted to see the game or BioWare fail. So the actor who plays the female Inquisitor in both the Dragon Age Inquisition and the Veilguard told IGN that she was absolutely devastated to see BioWare's latest game fail to find a larger audience despite mostly positive review scores from critics. Nobody gives a fuck about what the critics have to say. I'm so sick and tired of these activists going into these articles and basically propping themselves up. Oh, the critics thought that it was amazing. Oh, the critics gave it a 9 out of 10. Nobody cares about what the critics have to say anymore because you guys are just jokes to gamers. At this point, you never take our opinion seriously. You constantly attack us and belittle us. And you're more worried about propping up products that promote your agendas over products that are genuinely entertaining. Nobody cares that it's despite mostly positive review scores from critics. It says, though, speaking during a new interview discussing her many iconic video game characters to date, as well as her role in Microsoft's upcoming Perfect Dark reboot, she said that she loved her time as BioWare's Inquisitor, though did not believe the character would return. We are not going to get another Dragon Age game, at least anytime soon. Maybe in like 20 or 25 years, they'll potentially go back to the franchise, but it's not going to be anytime soon. They're probably also not going to bring her back. But if you don't know who this individual is, she is somebody who, of course, is very vocal on social media. Minimal Effort Gaming had posted this, and I thought that it was good to catch everybody up on the things that she says on her socials. Hey, trans, queer, non-binary friends, you matter. And I'm sorry, it's such a shitty, scary, oppressive time for you all right now, but you've always been here. You always will be here. The bigots come and go over the years. The most important thing is you remain here exactly who you are. 152 likes. I wouldn't say that that was a sweeping success of a tweet. Can we say the quiet part out loud now? Musk is clearly not a well man, is he? Obviously, there's much to deplore in many of these overstuffed oligarchs, but Musk strikes me as a more volatile, desperate to be liked, narcissistic, broken, erratic, immoral, amoral, etc. than the rest. Thoughts? My thoughts are she just went to Google and looked up names you can call someone who's mean. Yeah, she's very vocal, and hey, she is allowed to be, but again, we're allowed to criticize the things that she spews. She said, though, about Dragon Age, I feel absolutely devastated for BioWare as a studio that they got such mixed reactions to the game, she said of the response to the Veilguard. I personally thought it was a really strong game. I thought it was just BioWare being more BioWare. I think also a lot of people wanted to see it fail or wanted to see BioWare fail, either because they're just really bad people on the internet, of which there are unfortunately many, as we have discovered, which is insane to say. You're not a bad person for criticizing a game. Game companies want to sell you a product. If that product is not a high quality product, you are not obligated to purchase that product. And that does not mean, in turn, you are a terrible person. And the fact that she played this game, or at least read the script and said this is real deal BioWare, just goes to show she never understood BioWare from the beginning. If you compare Dragon Age the Veilguard to Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, Baldur's Gate 2, you compare it to any Mass Effect game, there is a stark difference. Veilguard looks like a young adult, cringy, modern day piece of trash. And if you look at something like Knights of the Old Republic, it looks like a fucking masterpiece, mainly because it is. But there is a complete difference between the level of quality and storytelling and just the love and the passion that were put into these two different products. Modern day BioWare is not even close to the BioWare of old. It is not even a fraction of the level that it used to be, which is sad. I didn't go into playing Dragon Age the Veilguard hoping that it was going to fail. I didn't go into it hoping I was going to hate it. I didn't go into it saying, I'm going to trash this game no matter what. I live streamed it. I hated the game. It was poorly written. I didn't like any of the characters. They had no depth to them. The world just felt really shallow. I thought at times the game was visually kind of pretty, but a coat of pretty paint doesn't make up for all of the issues that the game had, and it just was a really bad product all around. It's not that people wanted to see BioWare fail. People have loved BioWare. BioWare was once the pinnacle of the video game industry. There's a reason why BioWare can put out any game nowadays and at least get some level of support for it. If Veilguard was to come out by a AA studio or a brand new AAA studio, there'd be no shot it would have sold even a single fucking copy. People only gave it a chance because of BioWare. We just want BioWare to go back to the good old days, the days where they actually were putting a lot of time and effort into their games. And even though this game had a decade to be made and it had hundreds of millions of dollars, it's like they created this game in, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Maybe they did reboot it. Maybe they said it's so trash we need to restart it, and then they restarted it and still made, in their opinion, slightly less trash. I don't know. Either way, it was bad, and it doesn't make you a terrible person for criticizing a bad game, because that's what it is bad. And of course, IGN had to throw their 2 cents into the conversation by saying at launch the Veilguard was review bombed online. Criticism of the game being woke centered on its inclusion of a non-binary companion character and the ability for the character to choose to be transgender. Yes, these are choices, but they are choices a lot of people feel should not be in entertainment like this. We are talking about a dragon fantasy game. You should not be throwing modern day political terminology like transgender and non-binary and adding top surgery scar toggles into a game like this. That's how a lot of people felt, and it is how a lot of people will continue to feel. Now, what is funny, of course, about this is IGN is getting raked across the coals for it, and this actress is as well. There have been so many people that have been affiliated with the Veilguard that have come out over the past couple of weeks and who have trashed BioWare, have trashed the fans, and they don't really know what the word accountability truly means. They should probably Google the definition, but IGN and this woman are getting roasted. Everything is always someone else's fault. Imagine that developer saying, yeah, everyone wanted closer to Dragon Age 1, but we thought we knew better. We're fixing our internal culture to listen to our core fan base more. If that's too hard, then the wrong people work there. I completely agree with it. The game had dumbed down RPG mechanics, bad storytelling, ruined Solus 30 minutes into the game, and completely disregarded all of your choices from previous titles, and the companions sucked ass, not to mention every person in a position of power had to either be gay or trans, while every single villain, I'm not kidding, every villain was a white man and sometimes a white woman, but nothing else. It got what it deserved. There's tons of people who are just saying it was a bad product all around, take the L and keep moving on, and I think that this actress is not doing herself any favors because she is pretty vocal about politics on social media, and she's supposed to be be an actress that is in the upcoming Microsoft Perfect Dark reboot. She's bringing a lot of negative attention to that product, and they definitely don't need any more of that. So I'll keep my eye on her socials over the next couple of days to see if she responds to all of the negative attention that she's now getting, and also the negative attention she's bringing to a game like Dragon Age the Veilguard. But it's just another person not taking accountability and ignoring the fact that this was just a really trash game all around. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.